Jimin in tears. The hidden reason behind Jungkook's painful rebuke. What truly happened? The shock was immediate, piercing, and almost unbearable. Why did Jungkook, the youngest member of BTS, a figure admired for his loyalty and devotion to his brothers, allow disappointment to spill into the open in a way that reduced Jimin to tears? What exactly happened that night which left not only the members shaken, but millions of fans questioning a bond once thought indestructible? Why did Jungkook speak so softly, yet so painfully, that silence itself seemed to shatter under the weight of his words? The incident unfolded on what should have been a joyous occasion, Jungkook's 28th birthday. Expectations were high, but his celebration was not designed to be a glamorous spectacle for the cameras. Instead, he had prepared something deeply personal, a small, intimate gathering where presence mattered more than performance, where brotherhood was supposed to overshadow the demands of fame. Yet, as the hours passed, the celebration turned into an evening defined by absence. The one person he hoped to see most, Jimin, did not arrive. The silence surrounding his absence was deafening. Jungkook's live stream later that night carried none of the cheer fans expected. Instead, his words were trembling, raw, and uncharacteristically heavy. "I was hoping Jimin would be there." A statement so simple, yet so devastating, it froze the entire fandom in collective disbelief. It was not anger, not accusation, but heartbreak, spoken aloud by someone rarely willing to show such vulnerability. Why Jimin? Why did Jungkook single him out when other members also did not attend? For years, Jungkook has described Jimin as his closest confidant, his anchor through the sleepless nights of trainee days, the harsh glare of fame, and the suffocating expectations that come with global stardom. They were the pair fans often described as inseparable. To Jungkook, Jimin was not merely a brother, but the one person he believed understood him best. That is why his absence carried a wound deeper than any other. For fans, the revelation was seismic. Birthdays in BTS history had always been moments of solidarity, marked by warmth, laughter, and gestures of unwavering care. RM's thoughtful gifts, Suga's disguised affection, J-Hope's boundless energy, V's silent loyalty, Jin's humor, and Jimin's heartfelt devotion each year had been a reaffirmation of their brotherhood. But this year, the silence was louder than any celebration. Fans described it as hearing the sound of glass breaking, the shattering of something they once believed unbreakable, and then came Jimin's tears. Reports from those close to him suggest he broke down upon realizing the depth of Jungkook's disappointment. It was not about defending himself, nor about offering excuses. It was the painful recognition that absence, no matter the reason, sometimes speaks louder than presence. For Jimin, who had always been seen as Jungkook's protector and closest ally, the moment was devastating. His tears carried regret, sorrow, and a recognition that he had failed to be there when it mattered most. Why was he absent? Speculation erupted instantly. Some argued he was overwhelmed with personal or professional responsibilities. Others pointed to exhaustion, possible miscommunication, or even deeper, unspoken tensions. No definitive answers have been given, leaving only questions that grow heavier with each passing day. Was it circumstance? Was it neglect? Or was it something fans were never meant to know? The fandom itself became divided. On one side were those who defended Jimin, emphasizing years of loyalty, sacrifice, and closeness that one missed event could not erase. On the other side were those who echoed Jungkook's pain, insisting that if there was one night when presence mattered, it was this one. Yet beneath the arguments, one truth remained unshakable. Jungkook's words were real. They were not scripted, not staged, but raw and unfiltered, a glimpse of humanity behind the carefully curated image of perfection. This moment matters because it challenges the very foundation upon which BTS has built its legacy: unity. For more than a decade, the group has survived relentless pressure, endless schedules, and global scrutiny by leaning on one another. Their brotherhood was not just part of their identity, it was their strength. Jungkook's revelation, therefore, was more than disappointment. It was the exposure of fragility within a bond believed to be unshakable. And yet, the story does not end there. With Jimin's tears, the narrative takes on a different weight. His sorrow was not denial, but acknowledgement. Sometimes regret itself speaks more than defense ever could. His breakdown revealed not betrayal, but humanity, the painful reminder that even the closest friendships can falter when silence replaces presence. Fans have since rewatched countless past moments, searching for signs. Clips of Jimin embracing Jungkook when he cried, late-night conversations where they shared fears and ambitions, the laughter that once came so easily between them. These memories, once sweet, now carry a bittersweet weight, as though they foreshadowed a fracture no one wanted to see. Still, hope remains. Many believe the very fact that Jungkook voiced his disappointment and Jimin responded with tears is proof of their bond's depth, not its destruction. That such emotion surfaced at all suggests not a rupture, but a wound capable of healing. In this interpretation, the moment is not an ending but an inflection point, a reminder that even the strongest friendships require effort, forgiveness, and presence. Yet beyond the emotions lies another question, one about truth itself. How much of what we believe is undeniable reality, and how much has been shaped, amplified, or even distorted by the machinery of social media? The facts as presented are simple. Jungkook celebrated privately. Jimin was absent. Jungkook voiced his disappointment. Jimin reportedly cried. But each retelling, each reaction video, each speculative post has layered emotion upon emotion, until the truth itself seems hidden behind a wall of interpretation. Are we, as consumers of media, complicit in this amplification? Did Jungkook truly rebuke Jimin, or was he merely expressing loneliness in the simplest human form? Did Jimin truly cry as reported, or is this detail another addition shaped by those desperate to turn silence into spectacle? At what point does speculation harden into fact, simply because it has been repeated too many times to question? This is the dilemma. On one hand, the narrative resonates because it feels real. It speaks to loneliness, disappointment, and the fragility of human bonds. On the other, the absence of clear detail forces us to confront the possibility that we are engaging with fragments of truth wrapped in layers of exaggeration. Which version do we believe? The raw truth of Jungkook's pain and Jimin's regret? Or the dramatized storyline amplified by a fandom desperate for answers? Perhaps the most haunting part of this entire event is not what happened between Jungkook and Jimin, but what it reveals about us as observers. In our hunger for closeness, do we turn their lives into dramas staged for our consumption? Do we demand answers where silence itself may be the truth? Do we mistake vulnerability for betrayal and tears for finality? Friendships are not defined by a single night, nor destroyed by one missed event. Jungkook's words carried hurt, Jimin's tears carried regret, but neither necessarily carried the finality of fracture. Instead, they reveal what it means to love deeply, to feel abandoned when expectations are unmet, to cry when you realize you have disappointed someone you cherish. In the end, this moment strips away the illusion of perfection and leaves behind something more meaningful: humanity. Jungkook spoke. Jimin wept. And in that exchange, millions were reminded that idols are not untouchable figures, but people whose bonds, like ours, are tested by time, absence, and silence. The final question lingers not in what exactly happened that night, but in what we choose to believe. And why?